Hi everybody, welcome back and welcome to the final installation of the Personal Year Number series. First, I just want to start off with apologizing if this was your personal year number and you've been waiting patiently for me to release this. It's just a lot of videos, it's not just 9 videos that I had to make. I had to basically, make an introduction video before I even started talking about numerology, because prior to this I hadn't even mentioned it. And then obviously I had to make a video on how to find this number, etc. And after this video I will be making sort of an overview video about the personal year number, because there are insights to say about all of them together. So yeah, thank you so much if you've been following these videos. As I've said before, I'm really excited to cap it off here before I start doing more videos in numerology, because there's so much that I feel like I want to share with you guys. So here we go. The personal year number 9. The 9 year is all about evolution, tying loose ends, and humanitarianism. And I will go into all these aspects in this video to basically describe a year where you're on the precipice of an ending, but also a beginning. Everything that we hear about endings is at their beginnings, and it's true. The following year will be the true beginning, but this year there's a lot of work to be done in order to have the beginning that is right for you, and the beginning that will spur you into another 9-year cycle where you're gonna kick ass, hopefully. But anyway, as I was trying to get into, this is a culmination year. I think I mentioned the 5 previously as a culmination year. This is another culmination year. And think about it, the 5, you were halfway through basically, and now the 9, you're completing a whole cycle. You've done another half chunk, and so it makes sense along this spiral, along this upward spiral that you're traveling along, that the 9 is another culmination year. So what does a culmination year mean? In the 5, it was more centered around, you've done half of your chunk, half of your cycle. Now you have the opportunity to go left or right. You can continue doing what you've done since the 1, or you can change it up a bit, and it's a great year for change, so why not? The 9 is different. The 9 is you already made your decisions, and everything is said and done. And now there is a lot of integration, emotional healing, acceptance involved that takes your energy more into the past than the future. And I'm going to get into all this, so bear with me. So as I mentioned in the beginning, a major function of this year is tying up loose ends. Cleaning off the slate so that you can begin anew in the following year, which will be the 1, is a major function of this year. Without having closure, without having an adequate ending to things, you will not be able to see the open doors that are available in the upcoming years. You will not be able to see the opportunities that are available to you. So it's very important that you do the work. So it is in this way that the 9 year teaches us release. Whatever you've denied yourself in these past years, or whatever haven't dealt with, you've repressed emotions or you've repressed memories, whatever it may be, it's time to let that shit go, Frozen style. In the 7 year, you worked on integrating your mental body and developing a solid, or continuing to work on your belief system. The kind of integration that happens in the 9-year is a little bit different. It is now dealing more so with your emotional body, because in having to let things go, they're usually, obviously, very much interlinked with emotions. Things will have happened to us in the past 9 years, or in our life period. Some of these things could have been extremely traumatic, or they didn't go the way that we hoped that they would go. If you have happened to have a particularly difficult 9 years, or even just start to your life that has unresolved issues, that's when this year is the most emotional one. So, in a sense, if you think about it, in the 9-year, you will be integrating everything. And this brings me back to the culmination point, idea. That is also a culmination point, characteristic, you could say. Whatever you're feeling, whatever comes up, and there'll probably be something, even if it's small, you have to let yourself feel whatever you're feeling while you're feeling it. Sometimes, most of the times, we'll push things aside because the timing isn't right, or, a lot of us are told that being emotional is weak, or what have you. We all have our reasons for putting things aside, but you can't do that. You can't do that this year. Once you actually process things this year, I promise you'll feel a lot better. And some things in life, they take longer than a year to process. That's okay. But you have to start somewhere. And if you continue to just go on emotionally repressed, it'll just get worse over time, like the 7-year when I was talking about our mental body. Same thing. Because of the aspect of evolution in this vibration, you might, depending where you are in life, feel like this is a year where you're in a cocoon. And one day you're going to be a butterfly. But right now you're in this cocoon, you're in a state of evolution. It is a kind of a form of dormancy. And the idea is that when you do emerge, you're going to be something completely different than the previous character state that you had been emulating or living as. In this cocoon phase, or in this 9-year cycle where suddenly the past is in your face, bitterness is extremely toxic. When on the negative side of this vibration, you can, come across negative thoughts like nothing is ever going to be okay, nothing matters. You may refuse to see the good in life, or you not be able to find a reason to participate in life in some way. And so that is where I'm going to get into the blessing of the 9, in that it is the liberation from that which causes us to be unsatisfied and stagnant in our life emotionally from what has happened to us or from whatever circumstances that we've had to endure. This requires that we have the courage to move through fear and resistance to change. And so mastering this release that is presented to us in the 9 brings me to the second part of this blessing, which is the gift of the present. Once we finally work through these things and resolve these things, we're no longer in the past or the future if we're running from the past or what have you. We finally find ourselves where we are. Living in the now, in my point of view, is one of the most evolved reflections of being in this time and on Earth right now. It's And this is why the 9 is considered the most evolved number out of all of them. The now moment that all these gurus talk about all the time honestly holds everything that we need in this life, everything that we've come to learn in this life too, possibly. And so every 9 year, it hopefully brings us closer to this. This is where our happiness is. This is where our purpose is right now. Because the past has happened and the future has no guarantee. We know this. And not just because we could die, but because you can't actually make stuff happen and do whatever it is that you're meant to do if you always put it somewhere else. The only time to do it is now. Technically right now we are in the future if you think about it, because 0.001 seconds ago we were like, oh, I'll do it later. So the only thing that we have is now. And this is one of the deepest insights of the 9. And if you have a lot of 9s in your chart, you will carry, hopefully, this awareness, this vibration of insight with you, unless you're on, the negative side of the vibration, which anyone can be, which would be more the everything's meaningless and nothing matters type of mindset. And so while you're going through this personal, emotional, evolution, it's quite possible that it'll be much easier for you to have like a certain level of compassion, thus making it much easier for you to see through the illusion of separation. And this is where the humanitarian person steps forward. And that is, by the way, the title of the 9 is the humanitarian or the philanthropist. So because of this, if it feels right for you at this time, this is a great opportunity to volunteer your time and energy towards a cause that is most important to you. It should be something that you feel very passionate about, whether it's the environment or a cure for a disease or the homeless, anything. And this is always a good idea, no matter what year you're in, obviously, to volunteer in whatever way that you can. But the thing about this year is that it's going to give you a level of satisfaction that it may never had before. This is especially true if the cause that you're choosing is somehow linked to the emotional stuff, the emotional baggage that you're working through. And I'll give you an example. It may be in this cycle that you or someone that you love was a victim of domestic abuse. So you may decide, you know what? I'm tired of carrying this inside of me. I'm going to work through this, because I haven't yet. And, one of the steps that I'm going to take is start talking about it. I'm going to get involved in my community. I'm going to speak up about it. I'm going to find other people who have gone through what I've gone through, and I'm going to make a difference. This actually may be a great year to start a YouTube channel or a blog because in that in particular, you are expressing yourself, you're letting your emotions out, which is what you need to do in the 9 year, but you're also raising awareness and sharing your experience, and so other people can either learn from it or identify with it and then see that they're not alone in what they're dealing with or what they're feeling. So that if you're watching this and if you ever decided to speak up about it, whatever that you're passionate about, keep that in mind. And so I think this video is very long, so I'm going to move on. There is more stuff I could say, like with every video, but I'm going to kind of wrap it up now and move on to the quotes. And the quotes, as I've said in every single video, come from Life Cycles, Christine Delory. Here you go. Buy this book. It's great. First one is, we only truly evolve as people when we dare to get to know ourselves and remove the layers we hide behind. Jerry Halliwell. The second is, don't be dismayed at goodbyes. A farewell is necessary before you can meet again, and meeting again after moments or lifetimes is certain for those who are friends. Richard Bach. And that's a great quote for if you're fearing change this year. And the last one is, one's knowledge cannot go beyond one's experience. John Locke. And like many other videos, I have chosen a paragraph from the book. It's the last one for the 9-year cycle. And it states, not all endings will have unhappy emotions attached to them. Certain situations will be concluded, bringing you much relief. Don't always assume the worst. Accept that your past is simply the ground you had to cover in order to get where you want to be. Your understanding of this will make your 9-year cycle one of the most exhilarating and dynamic journeys you will ever travel. I really like the positivity in that statement, and I love the blessing of the 9, and I love the insight of the 9. The 7 gave us all this mental wisdom, but the 9 is insight on the expanse of this life that we're going through. So it's quite a doozy. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I can't believe I'm finally finished. Now that I finally got here, I'm like, whew. It's like a weight has been lifted. Until I get to the life path numbers. Wow. So, yeah, if you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. And if you are interested in a personal reading with me, please visit the link in the description, which will take you to my Etsy shop and will explain what that service is. Please like and subscribe and share the series with anyone because it applies to anyone. And it's fun. Numerology is fun, especially when you get to do it with other people, because you get to see, you know, what your numbers are. And with your friends, you know, you can compare and contrast, see what years they're going through. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, have a lovely day.